Okay, so a little talk on patterning and percentages. I'm heading off to Lake of the Woods for another trip, another shoot for catch and relief, and made some changes in my Lakewood tackle boxes. Overall, just sizing up to a little bit bigger. It's getting to be that time of the year where things are a little bit bigger, but it's still the warm water period. It's the pre-turnover period, so as far as what they're chasing, they're still willing to move pretty fast overall, and they'll chase. But just a general idea of what I'm prioritizing and how I go about things. Now, from an efficiency standpoint, there's nothing more efficient than a bucktail or a spinnerbait. So that's literally my number one. Now the number two, as far as what I think they might hit, unless we got a severe cold front, would be some kind of a topwater. This, if things got a little bit tougher, a zigzag bait like this walking boss that's obviously already tangled up right away like they always do. Tail baits as well, but different types of topwater. That would generally be, as far as what the fish would like to hit, that's my number two. But I put them back to number 3 or 4 because they're not as efficient when it comes to actually hooking and catching the fish, and in certain cases water coverage. This walking boss too, this glider lure, doesn't cover water really fast. One thing that covers water really fast that maybe doesn't get as much attention this time of the year is just crankbaits and swim baits in general. So I'm going a little bigger than normal, but this is overall more efficient. Another reason it's more efficient than some of the other baits, like say soft plastic, which are absolutely tremendous as far as triggering fish, especially when conditions are tough. But these are efficient because they cover water a little more quicker. On the Canadian Shield, you've got a tremendous amount of rocks. I'll be fishing rocks a lot. What happens here, this bait generally, it'll get stuck once in a while, but it bounces off of rocks. The hooks don't grab rocks as much. I don't have to worry as much about the hooks getting dull in general. So it's more efficient, more casts, more hookups, more catching involved. One other little sleeper bait that isn't talked about too much. Now this can be soft plastic or a hard lure like this Livingston Viper, but these swim baits, they move pretty quickly. They're kind of like a bucktail, covering water fast, and overall not as good as a bucktail, but the hookups and holding are overall real good, so in that percentage game. So these are the things that I'm thinking of. I'm generally a little bit bigger baits, but having a plan of prioritizing to the different factors, not just what they'll hit, but also what's more efficient, okay? And just kind of breaking it down from there. Generally what I'll do is I'll have these baits that may be less efficient but unique as far as triggering, like the soft plastic or the glider topwater. The person in the back of the boat should be using that. People in the front of the boat use the highest efficiency baits. I go about things and I pattern from there.